Megan Fox.
And Megan Fox has the story.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox writes at PJ Media.
Eat Tucker.
And that was your last.
Damn it, man. I cried for 2 days.
Megan, thank you very much for that.
So, I can explain the bed thing.
If you don't show up and vote, up your ass. I don't care if you're in the hospital. Crawl to the stake. Crawl there.
It's like Jesus going to the temple. He's like, I got a whip. Get out! Get out! The lovely and wonderful Megan Fox. Not that one.
Not that one. Not the weird one that drinks blood in his toe thumbs.
Megan Fox.
Megan. And honestly, Megan, if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
She's the devil.
Megan.
Megan Fox.
Megan.
Megan.
Megan Fox.
I've been very nice to you, although I could probably maybe not be based on the way you have treated me, but I wouldn't do that.
You've never met a like me. You want to tangle? You want to go? Holy sh!
Too much cussing on this. I guess we didn't bleep it, so we got to turn it off. But it's.
You pissed off the wrong woman.
Oh my God! I have been assaulted, but Megan Fox runs wild on you, brother.
She's the devil.
Not for publication.
The story.
I'm Megan.
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 Megan Fox.
Thank
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, hello there. How are you? How are you doing today? I am not doing so well. I am not feeling good. Dang it, not feeling good at all. I came down with something yesterday. I'm battling this weird stomach thing that just makes me feel yucky and ugh. I don't feel like eating, but I'm also starving. It feels bad, man. It feels bad. I almost didn't do this today because I don't feel good. And so I'm sorry. I almost feel like, oh God, I got to go live now and be funny. I can't be funny. I feel like shit. I do. I feel like shit. So this will probably not be that long of a broadcast. Look, I'm melting already. I'm melting. I want to be back in bed. Yeah, you noticed the tapestry in the background. So we were going through the Christmas decorations, and my grandma Vicky, who is no longer with us, used to do latch hook rugs. And in fact, I might have helped her with some of those. And my husband found them. My Aunt Cheryl gave them to me, and before she died. And so I thought I would hang them up for some Christmas cheer. All right. Yeah, isn't it a weird feeling? Like I can't eat. I feel sick, but I'm also starving. Like I want to stuff my face with everything. And my stomach just hurts. So I don't know. It sucks. All right. Enough of the music. Okay. I don't feel good, you guys. I just don't feel good. All right, we have to get some things out of the way. There's actually a lot to talk about, and I'm going to try and do it in a short period of time. Before I get into reading the plaintiff's response that everybody is talking about, the plaintiff's response to JHACH's retarded arguments, that juror number 1. Can you guys hear me okay? I can't hear myself very well. Hold on. Let's try that. Okay, that's better. Now I know the mic is working. Okay. The plaintiff's response to the jurors, to juror number 1 and the allegations against juror number 1 that have just been brought up in court on the 15th. So apparently on the 15th, Ethan Shapiro puts in this affidavit, which I still haven't been able to find yet. And the affidavit brings up this alleged criminal thing that happened over 20 years ago. Nick says there will be no cough button today, only a retch button. It's true. That's how I feel. But yet nothing's happening. I'm not puking. I'm not running to the bathroom. Like nothing is happening. My stomach just hurts. It just hurts. You know what? That's a really good idea. I should have some water with me. But instead, what am I drinking? Coffee. Because that's what I live on. I know. The affidavit. Are you saying Runkle blasted out the affidavit? Yeah, I couldn't find the affidavit but anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's just some Shapiro, like, Your Honor. It's basically an affidavit about juror number 1 didn't check the box on the jury form that said he was a victim of a crime. And he was, because there was this criminal allegation 20 or so years ago. And it has something to do with something that we didn't really look up and we didn't spend a lot of time on. We have no really idea what it is, but we're saying we absolutely would have asked him follow-up questions. He said that. He said they would have asked him follow-up questions if they knew that he had been a victim of a crime or I don't even know. We'll get to it because it's in the plaintiff's response. But before we get to all that, I want to quickly, Megan, very quickly, go over my article, my new one, at PJ Media because it relates. This is about, but there's been some people have some questions like, well, how is this even a thing? Like, there's some questions in the chat about how this is linked to JHACH, and I just want to talk about that. I mean, technically, Matthew Perry's death is obviously not linked to JHACH. However, hold on, let me pull it over here so I can make it bigger. It is weird. I always tell you guys, don't I, when I find weird things in the media where I'm like, this seems like there's a reason why that we're being told this, that they're not telling us. Whenever I spot what I think is, questionable news, I will bring it to you and I'll be like, does this seem real to you? And I even have a little segment here. Fake news. That's right. For those of you who've been with this program for a long time, I have used that to indicate when I find fake news. And I really believe that some of the coverage, almost all the coverage of Matthew Perry's death has been fake news. And the question you got to ask yourself is why? Why are they making it sound like he died from ketamine? Because that's what they're saying. Acute ketamine. That the coroner's report from LA County said that it was acute ketamine, the effects of acute ketamine, whatever, overdose or whatever. However, when you actually look at the tox report, this poor man was on 3 or 4 different things that have bad contraindications. However, the reason why it started to click in my head that this could be connected to JHACH and what they are going through is because the very first article that came out about it was in the Associated Press. Now, if you know anything about how media moves, how stories move around, usually the Associated Press will put it out there. Let me show you this report. This is the Associated Press report that came out on December 16th. You see this? Now, it's on pbs.com, but look here. Look at the byline by Andrew Dalton, Associated Press. A lot of these big press agencies will take anything from the AP and just literally copy and paste it on their site. So PBS can do it, NBC can do it, and then you'll see that the byline is always the same, Andrew Dalton, Associated Press. And I should reach out to Andrew and just to ask him, who reached out to you first about this? Was it Johns Hopkins or did you reach out to them? Because in the very, very first article about this autopsy report shows actor Matthew Perry died from effects of ketamine. See how it says died from effects of ketamine. and nothing else, just ketamine. If you go in here, look at the very first person who, they don't interview the LA County medical examiner who is up here, who did the report. Who did they interview? Dr. Andrew Stolbach. He's a medical toxicologist with Johns Hopkins Medicine. Who reviewed the autopsy report at the request of the Associated Press. So we're supposed to believe that the Associated Press just happened to have this guy in Maryland. I looked him up. He works in Maryland. They just happen to have his contact information, a medical toxicologist with Johns Hopkins in Maryland, for this article. He's the first person you would go to. Maybe that happened. Maybe it did. Or there's two ways this could have happened. Okay. There's two ways. And this is the very first article that came out, the one that got repeated everywhere. And it's not that this doctor said anything bad. He didn't. He basically said, this is what he said. The amount of ketamine detected would be enough to make him lose consciousness and lose his posture and his ability to keep himself above the water, whereas he drowned, after which he drowned. Said Dr. Andrew Stolbach, a medical toxicologist with Johns Hopkins Medicine, who reviewed the autopsy report at the request of the Associated Press. Using sedative drugs in a pool or hot tub, especially when you're alone, is extremely risky, and sadly here it's fatal, said Stolbach, who noted that both ketamine and buprenorphine can be used safely. So at least he said that. At least he said it can be used safely. But do you think it's weird? Yeah, they might have a list of experts. They might have like a list of people that they call to ask, and that could be that could be it. But if you want to know why I start thinking Matthew Perry, Johns Hopkins, ketamine, this is why. Because this is the kind of thing, after the AP puts this out, nobody else does any investigation. They just repeat it all over the place. So here's the thing. So I just thought that this was odd, and it could have happened one of two ways. And here's how. Either, like it says here, the Associated Press really did reach out to this guy that they just happened to know at Johns Hopkins, out of all places they could have asked. Or I happen to know, too, that if you look up Johns Hopkins PR, public relations, they have an entire department of public relations that the hospital has like 3 or 4 different numbers of press people, PR people inside the conglomerate that answer questions and that also put out press releases. So the other option is that they may have put out a notice or a press release to the AP that they have a doctor willing to comment on this big story. And if they did that, the question is why? Because I think they might recognize that this is a good opportunity to not let a crisis go to waste. Never let a crisis go to waste. We learned that from Barack Obama. That is a political move. Whenever there's a crisis, you use it to the best of your ability. And now, because of this, it has gone totally viral all over the internet and every news agency that Matthew Perry died from ketamine. Well, I don't think so. And I know I'm not a doctor, but I looked at the tox report. I did a couple of Google searches. Let me just read to you this part right here. Buried in the articles about the toxicology report reveals that Perry was on a cocktail of dangerous drugs while also suffering chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, emphysema, and diabetes. Not a healthy guy. This is not a healthy guy. Also in his system were buprenorphine, which is an opioid, and lorazepam, which is a benzodiazepine. 2 of those drugs have a serious warning of coma or death. Lorazepam and I can't say this one. I'll just call it bup. Lorazepam and bup together can cause central nervous system depression that can lead to respiratory distress, coma, and even death, according to drugs.com. So there's a thing you can just plug in drugs on drugs.com to tell you if they're contraindicated and how they interact with one another. And when you type it in here, it pops up. Let me see if I can show you. Look at how it pops up. Major. It says here, let me try and get closer so you can see that. Interactions between your drugs. major lorazepam and ketamine, major lorazepam, buprenorphine. So there are two major red flag alerts between these drugs. Oh, and here's another one, ketamine and buprenorphine, also major. So all three of these drugs interact with each other badly. Badly. I mean, this is not hard to find. I just went to drugs.com and I found this. How come there isn't one other, not one other reporter who looked at that? Why did they just repeat that it was the ketamine? And I think it's because I have my opinions. This is an opinion column here. This is an editorial. And if you want to read my opinions, I will drop the link for you in the chats. Hello, Rumble. How are you? I will be dropping this in your chat as well. And on Locals, where I have a live stream going, meganfox.locals.com. Get in there. And here's the link for you guys in there. I think Locals already has it, though, because they've been reading it for a while. So just to be clear, I know I've heard some people saying that JHACH had something to do with the tox report. The only thing they had to do with the tox report that I know of is just commenting on it. I still think it's weird. I still think that it's one of these manufactured crises to get your message out there. And I think JHACH desperately wants people to believe that ketamine is dangerous, and this story really works for them. So I also think, don't you think it's weird that the media all made a huge deal out of saying how sober he was? This dude was not sober in any way. So like, they're lying to us about everything. So forgive me if I don't believe them when I see a story that comes out and it seems to be kind of poorly researched or poorly, nobody really put things together in a way that makes sense to just a normal person. Like a normal person looking at his tox screen and seeing those drugs all together are going to be like, what? Dude was high AF and drowned because he had multiple things in his system. So instead of like just being real about it and being like, well, unfortunately, Matthew Perry, who we all loved, was not sober and made some real bad decisions. Yeah, I mean, they say he was using the opioid to treat an opioid addiction. And it's like, okay, if this is what the medical community tells us to do, that's not sober. That's California sober, which means not sober at all. And I feel sorry that he had these addiction problems, but that is no reason to then demonize ketamine, which some people seem to have good results with. Now, I've never needed to have ketamine for anything. I've never had it. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I can't give you any advice on what to do, but I do think the government should not be able to tell us what we can try for our problems, whatever those problems may be. We need to have actual medical freedom. Last night, Nick Rekieta was talking about this. He read through the article. Thanks for doing that, Nick. He is hilarious. He gave me the best compliment ever. He told me, he said that I may be medium smart, but I'm tenacious as fuck, which is hilarious. And I want to put that on my tombstone. I can play that clip for you in a little bit. It's hilarious. But he went off on one thing that I had not even really thought of, which is no one in this country has medical freedom. The only people who had medical freedom in this country before Roe v. Wade was overturned were women who wanted to kill babies. Now, I understand that there are a bunch of you out there who have differing opinions than me on this subject, and we don't need to get into an abortion debate, but I'm just saying it's weird that the only people who ever didn't have to report, something to the government, a medical procedure to the government, are women who want to destroy their offspring, a thing that was never actually in the Constitution. But if you want to try a drug for your cancer, or you want to try something else, some other therapy for some malady you have, it all gets reported. There is no medical freedom. And it's weird. It's weird. Yeah, I'm going to need to add his clip to my intro to make it even longer. But I mean, here's the thing, though. Nick can say it better than I can. You guys should go listen to his show from last night. I think, though, that Nick thought that that Johns Hopkins doctor, actually the one that AP reported, I think he believed that they did the tox report. And they did, and that's reasonable to believe because the way that it was written, it was like, why would you go to the Johns Hopkins doctor as soon as this autopsy comes out? So that's the only thing that he got a little bit wrong last night, but that is probably not his fault. Here's what he said, but you should go watch the show because he goes off
It apart,
times
and she will go
about medical malpractice. But here's
so
the
there
nice
you
thing he
go.
said
Yeah,
about
we
me.
will, and again, we'll talk about that shit when we get into Megan Fox's article on the subject. Again, I'm gonna tip Megan Fox on all that work. We're gonna heavy into her article. I encourage you guys to read it, support her. She's medium smart, but when she is tenacious as fuck, and when she gets on a subject, she will track it down with integrity, with courage, with honesty, and she'll rip it apart, and she will go straight to the throat of the people who deserve it. That's why we love her. She's fucking fearless. And she is, I said, well, tenacious. I'm not going to re-say tenacious. She's cool though. She's cool. But
He's so funny. That was so sweet. Thank you, Nick. But yeah, it's a really weird thing. And like listening to him go off about medical freedom is really worth it because we don't really have it. And I don't know if you've noticed that and this whole trial is about that. This Maya Kowalski trial is all about that. This is what it's about. It's about medical freedom. Do you have the right to get your kid treatment that is working for you, even if it's controversial? Do you have the right to try treatment that is controversial? That should be on a t-shirt. Medium smart, but tenacious as fuck. It was funny. That was so funny. And that's what we've all been talking about. And I think the people are sick of this. I think one thing in the article that I might want to mention too before we get on to is I said, it seems irresponsible to me to blame one drug when there were so many other contributing factors. Is this the beginning of the medical mafia using the death of a beloved figure to push their usual scare tactics that could have the effect of harming millions of people who are currently being helped by ketamine therapy? It's almost like a memo went out demanding ketamine be demonized because one of their own just lost a giant medical malpractice case involving the drug, and they don't want to pay. The people didn't buy the scare stories about ketamine in the courtroom, so maybe they'll believe it if the media says it's true. Maybe you'll believe it if the media says it's true. I hope not, because I think that we need to do whatever we need to do in this country to get more freedom for people, not less, because the attack on our freedoms, on our rights is daily. It's daily. And especially we've been having this conversation about people in pain and the right to try things and how doctors and medical professionals treat you. And we need to go the opposite direction of where we're at currently. So don't let the media do this. I don't know if ketamine is actually going to be as promising as they say, and maybe it won't be. And maybe one day you'll find out that, well, they tried that for a while and it didn't really work all that well. Oh, well, such is life. We don't need the government. We don't need nanny government telling us what we can try, what we can have, what we can do with our own damn bodies. If you want to go back to the abortion debate, how come that's the only thing that people fight for, the right to have total control over their bodies? We saw during the pandemic, you don't have control over your body. You can be told you have to get something injected into you in order to go to work. You have to take this government experiment or you can't go in a restaurant. We don't have medical freedom, and it's not okay. It's not okay. It needs to stop. And that's the entire conversation that we've been having. And yes, I saw a connection between how the media is reporting the Matthew Perry death and what JHACH is currently trying to do to make people believe ketamine is this dangerous, deadly drug, and that the Kowalskis were going to kill their kid if they hadn't stepped in and taken her hostage and taken her cake and thrown it in the trash and dropped her a bunch of times. Over there in the JHACH wing that sounds like this. By the way, how's the sound? How are the buttons? Can you hear them, or are they super soft? Because if they're super soft, I need to check the levels and turn it up a little. So tell me if the buttons are too soft. I can't see the locals chat right now, and I don't know why. Oh, there you are. There you are. I found you. Okay. Can you hear the buttons? That's what I need to know. How's the button volume?
Wrong.
You are fake news.
Oh, good. I love it when you guys say it sounds good. All right, that's fantastic. All right, we can move on now. Let us get over to reading the plaintiff's response because it's freaking hilarious. And if you saw my if you saw the cartoon thumbnail that I put up there with Wylie E. Coyote getting rammed by his own device, that as I was reading it, that's all I could see in my head was Wylie E. Coyote trying again and again and again to get that dumb roadrunner, and every trap he sets comes back on himself. This is JHACH. This is JHACH lawyers. Every trap they think they set comes back on themselves. And this one is this is the greatest one yet. Hold on, let me get over there. Let's see. We got to share this. And then afterwards, I hope if we get through this quick enough, I have not updates, but more information about Georgia and DFACS over there that I would like to get to. If I can't get to it today, then I'm going to do it tomorrow. I have too many windows open. Megan, get rid of the windows. Too many windows. All right, hold on. I have to shut down some tabs because this is out of control. It's out of control, folks. Don't need Twitter up. Don't need that up. Don't need this. Yeah, I guess I need the YouTube studio. We'll keep that up. Done with the AP report. Done with drugs.com. Let's move it along. Yeah, so I have stuff to catch up on, like this article in on another one on PBS that nearly 1,800 foster children in Georgia are reported missing over the past 4 years. Let that sink in. 1,800 kids in Georgia reported missing from foster care. And these are the people that we put in charge of taking kids from parents, and then they go and they fucking lose them.
Bullshit.
That's literally happening. So we're going to get into that later. All right, let's get into this. How do I make this bigger? All right, first of all, I got to put it over here. I got to move locals over here so I can see you. Locals. And Rumble. Where are you, Rumble? I gotta reorganize my screens. Pop out. Where's the pop out? Where's the pop out?
That's what she said.
Pop out chat. There we go. That's what I needed. All right. And I can get rid of that. Did you guys not get the... Oh, Rumble, I forgot to give you the link to my article. I'm sorry. Let's hope it's that one. Yep, that works. Now you have it. All right, let's make this big.
That's what she said.
Phrasing.
All right. All right, I think I have everything finally set up now. It's unbelievable. I have these 2 giant monitors, and I feel like I need 4 more, just like Judge Carroll has. I could still use... Well, I have room for 1 more. IT Goatee Brad, if you're out there, what about a small monitor? Should we just get a small one to go on the left side over here? Just so, because I would like to put all the chats over there. I can't believe that I'm running out of space already. All right. All right, this is so funny. Plaintiff's response to defendant's 3rd supplement proffer of affidavit at December 15th hearing to motion for juror interview. Oh my God. Oh my God. No way. Well, the reason why the affidavit from the defense is not available on the court docket is because he never filed it. Shapiro never filed it. He talked about it in front of the cameras, but he never filed it. So I've been told it will be in my inbox shortly, but he never filed it. Holy shit. You guys, if this motion does not make Judge Carroll actually do something, then nothing will. And I have a feeling that he's not going to do anything.
Wet ass P word.
Having failed to articulate any grounds to justify an interview of juror number 1 in its previous motions and supplements, the defendant produced a third-party affidavit at the time of hearing on December 15th. So at the hearing, they brought this third-party motion in, which they did not file. Plaintiff's first opportunity to review the affidavit was during defendant's argument on its various post-verdict motions attacking juror number 1. So they literally just gave the plaintiff the motion as they walked into court. That seems fair. Sure. Having withheld the affidavit until the last minute, defense counsel was able to facially argue that there was a non-disclosure on the part of juror number 1. Astoundingly, this is another instance of defendant willingly and recklessly misleading this court. Juror number 1, and let's go to the footnote. So there's a footnote there, and I always read the footnotes. The court may recall at the December 15th hearing that defense counsel deflected questions raised by the court about whether the defendant had asked questions of jurors based on affirmative responses to the crime questions on the juror questionnaire. Defense counsel misleadingly responded that he hadn't gone back through all of the voir dire to determine whether, hold on, we have to get down to the rest of this, whether number 1? Whether the defendant had in fact asked questions of jurors who answered any of the crime questions in the affirmative. In responding here, the plaintiff learned that the defendant had never even ordered the transcript of the jury selection process. The court said, let me ask you this, and I haven't gone back to look at all of the juror questionnaires, but were there other juror questionnaires where the juror checked a family member's been a victim of a crime, and then did your side ask questions of those individuals? Mr. Shapiro said, I haven't gone back through all the voir dire. In fact, defense counsel had not gone through, that's not him. In fact, defense counsel had not gone through any of the voir dire before making their latest reckless assertions. I mean, if this doesn't deserve sanctions, nothing does. As discussed further below, having had the $7,500 privilege of ordering the transcripts and performing the due diligence defendant should have performed before further disparaging juror number 1 and making false claims about what the defendant would have done, plaintiff can conclusively demonstrate that defendant asked no questions whether or not a potential juror or one of the juror's family members had been charged with a crime or the victim of a crime was simply not an area the defendant was concerned with or ever explored with any of the 12 jurors during the multi-day jury selection process. That sentence was so long, it was an entire paragraph. Look at this. This is here's the entire sentence. From here to here, they write sentences like I do sometimes. That is one sentence. One. I have this problem, and I'm like, I really need to break this up into like 3 sentences. But sometimes you're like, no, I can't. It's one thought, and it needs to get out there, even if it's 8 lines long. Look at this. The defense never even pulled the transcripts, and they should have to pay the $7,500 that the plaintiff had to pay to get the transcripts. I mean, this is negligence. I would never allow this in a courtroom of mine. This is crazy. These people are the lowest of the low.
Because you are a corrupt person. You're the most corrupt.
Yeah, very corrupt. I mean, this is how the judge should treat them in his coming orders.
Denied. Sit down.
But he won't. We know he won't. And why is that? Because he is
wet ass P word.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Judge Carroll, but I have lost you've lost the shine for me. The tuft of justice has lost his shine, in my opinion. All right, here we go. Juror number 1 did disclose on his juror questionnaire that he or an immediate family member had been charged with a crime at question 18B. Remember, Shapiro, when you stood in front of the courtroom in all of America and said he checked no on that box? You lied. You lied to the court. You lied to America. And he's going to say, well, it was a mistake. I didn't know. You didn't pull the transcripts. You didn't even pull the questionnaire? Really? Because the plaintiff did, and we will see it in the exhibits. But I mean, this right here, if I'm the judge, I get right here and I get pissed and I'm done. I'm done. I don't even need to go any further than this. You did what? You represented what to me for the 3rd or 4th time? You represented some shit that isn't true? What is with this judge and these lawyers, and why do they keep getting away with this? I mean, good God. It makes me angry. Like, really, really angry. Like the Alex Jones in my head is going off.
You will pay for what you've done. And I pray that God send angels to visit vengeance upon you.
That's exactly what he should do. That's what the judge should say. Oh, no, Christy, this is not the same judge that denied the hug. That would be Judge Hayworth in the juvenile court. And we got to get back to those transcripts. But it's Christmas. Christmas is coming and I'm not feeling good. So I just can't. I can't right now. If I get through today, it'll be a freaking miracle. All right. Where was I? Did disclose it on his juror questionnaire that he had been a victim of or a family member had been a victim of a crime. Juror number 1's disclosure on his juror questionnaire demonstrates that both defendants' first supplement based on the 20-year-old domestic court issues and the latest affidavit are frivolous and could have been explored by the defendant. But they didn't. They would rather waste the court's time than explore and actually realize, oh, fuck, we made a mistake. That's not real. He did. Okay, start back at they just, instead of finding out, they just went to the judge with it. They went in front of America, and now all of Reddit thinks that the juror lied about this thing. So the juror is being defamed again all over Reddit. By the way, I have something to say to you Reddit people. Those people on that Reddit page are all pissed off because nobody likes them. They're like, nobody likes us. Everybody hates us. Oh, wait, I forgot to use my Reddit voice. That's important.
No. Nobody likes us. Everybody hates us. I'm gonna eat some worms.
That's them on Reddit right now. However, they are self-admittedly, self-described doctors and doctors' wives. They should know better than doing all of the things that they are doing. They ought to know better. They're all highly educated, apparently, according to them. Highly educated. And yet these highly educated people are actually rooting for the destruction of an American family by a large conglomerate simply because they happen to work in the same field. It's gross, Reddit, and you should stop it. And also stop defaming juror number 1. All right, Lala, I see that I've seen that order. It doesn't say what you think it says. The judge's order about the IJ documents says exactly what he said in court. It does not say what you think it says. You think it says that he's ordering them to turn over the documents. That's not what it says. He said they needed to turn over the non-privileged documents, which could be, so basically anything they want to hide, they're going to put under the headline privileged and not turn that over. They're just going to give them a bunch of bullshit that is entitled not privileged. And then the judge ordered for the things that he ordered the plaintiff to make a list of the things that they want in the privileged documents. And then he's going to have an in-camera interview, which means in his chambers by himself with those documents, supposedly. And the judge is going to go through each one of them and decide which ones the plaintiff can have, if they can have any. And that is what he said on December 15th. He didn't order them to turn over shit. He said they had to turn over just the non-privileged stuff, which is going to be a bunch of garbage. So it's not what you think it is. I know a bunch of you were like excited about it, but it's exactly what he said in court. Brian Miller, thanks for the super chat, says, go read it about Maya's TikTok on the gifts she got. Oh God, I can't, not right now. But maybe later. Mathis Grease, thanks for the super chat, says, judge on Friday tried hard not to blow up and still lashed out at defense BS 2+ times. I didn't see much lashing out. I mean, I saw a little snark, but he seemed like a
wet ass P-word
to me. Better to 100% protect verdict, but scream behind closed doors. Yeah, I guess. I just think that, look, I've seen judges behave. Well, I mean, you all remember Schrader, right?
Don't get brazen with me.
He could say that. No, nothing's getting overturned because the judge calls out the defense for fucking lying. They're lying. Like, they're literally lying, you guys. They're lying They're just lying, just flat out lying. And every time they do it, the plaintiff catches them. How about when they lied about the creature comforts? Remember that lie? Oh, well, juror number 1 used the phrase creature comforts, and he only could have gotten that from Dr. Kirkpatrick's website. And the plaintiff was like, no, because the physical therapist said it 11 days earlier. Like, that's just lying. They're just lying. Judge isn't going to do shit. He's not going to do anything. And why is that? Repeat after me.
Wet ass P word.
Or repeat after Ben Shapiro.
Wet ass P word.
All right. You guys have a lot more faith in Judge Carroll than I do. I mean, I'm not saying I think he's going to rule for the defense. I just think that he is treading a very dangerous line. I think all of it, without coming to a quick decision about this juror interview, with him waiting until after Christmas and dragging the shit out like he's actually entertaining this interview, it's already doing the damage we said would be done. How many of you are gonna try and get out of jury duty now, knowing that you could be dragged through this, knowing that your family, your son, your daughter, their social media, their criminal history can be put online in a national trial and all over the news just because you said yes to being on a jury? Not even said yes, you were conscripted into it. How many of you are now going to willingly be like, not trying to get out of jury duty? I mean, the damage is almost already done. The damage could be stopped now if Judge Carroll would just rule on this and say, no, we're not going to put the entire jury system in question because you don't like the fact that you lost a case. That Johns Hopkins, with billions of dollars, lost a case and are throwing a fit like a toddler. Sorry, no, you lied to me. You lied to this court. You misrepresented these facts over and over again. No. Oh God, where's the gag button? I don't feel good. All right, let's get this over with. Where was I? Contrary to defense's counsel assertions during the hearing, defense counsel asked no questions about the crime response at question 18B on juror number 1's form, nor any questions of the jurors who said they or an immediate family member had been charged with a crime, the victim of a crime, or a witness in a criminal case. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. We are almost at 25,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I don't know where we're at on Rumble, but it's got to be getting up there. I think we're almost at 5,000 over there, and I would really like to see that grow. And don't forget to go to meganfox.locals.com if you missed if you happen to be on the rewatch crew and you didn't get the notification from YouTube. That's because YouTube is asshole, and they don't send out notifications even when you hit that bell. So make sure that you follow me at meganfox.locals.com, where you will get notifications. You'll get so many notifications, you'll be like, why am I getting all these notifications? But it's better than none. All right. The record proves that defendant did not consider the information material, at least until the defendant lost. That's exactly right. The plaintiffs pray that the court not reward defendant Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital for its continued attacks on juror number 1 and multiple bad faith attempts to mislead this court. Yes, amen. Multiple bad faith attempts to mislead this court. We've seen it over and over and over again, and I'm so freaking tired of it, Judge Carroll. Why do you continue to allow it?
Wet ass P word.
And I'm not going to stop saying it because it bothers me. I don't understand. I would like to have respect for our judicial system and our judges. And yet judges keep giving me reasons to hate them. Our judicial system keeps giving me all these reasons to hate it and to not respect it. And to think that it's a joke when they say all rise when that dude in the black robe walks in the room. Why? Why should I stand up for that? Why do I stand up for a guy who can't even control his own courtroom, who can't even tell the defendant's lawyers that they are lying and catch them in it and tell them to go suck eggs? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this. I wanted to laugh a lot more than I am today. I'm getting pissed. Oh my God, who did this? Nick, did you do that? Oh my God, look at this. We've got to get this t-shirt in the merch store immediately. Oh my God. Hold on. I have to show you. Look what Locals is up to. Nick, did you design that? This is so great. If you will send me this, I will stick it on a shirt. Medium smart, tenacious as a fox AF. I love it. I love it. This is so good. Oh my God, send me that logo. I will put it on a shirt. We will get it in the store today. That's awesome. That's awesome. I know everyone wants one. I want that. That's so good. That's Meredith's Fox, by the way. Meredith or Linux Charms, who's in the chat a lot. I don't know if she's here today, but she designed that Fox, and I think she designed all my merch. She's awesome. This is fantastic. Please please send me that on a transparent, in a transparent JPEG or whatever, and I'll stick it on a t-shirt. That's awesome. I'm doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it live. No, I'm kidding. I'm not doing it live. I'll do it later, but I will do it. All right, let's get back over here. Laura says, I would like one that just says medium smart. I know, I'm so behind on doing that. I should have done that. I should have made one like that. I will. We'll do one that says medium smart too. Okay. The record proves. Yep. The plaintiffs pray that the court not reward defendant Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital for its continued attacks on juror number 1, but the court will reward them. So, and that's how I feel about it. The defendant has targeted juror number 1 and viciously attacked him, his wife, and now his wife's son in a post-verdict effort to undo a 9-week trial. It's so wrong. Based on post-verdict research.
Oh my God, you guys, we're in emotion again. We are the researchers or the ones here on Reddit that are doing all the research. Oh my God. All of our very brilliant ideas end up in the defense's motions. We're so special and smart.
Based on post-verdict research into juror number 1's life going back more than 20 years. And now we have another footnote. Let's go down to number 2. Although, and I love this part, although defense counsel was uncomfortable divulging defendant's sources at the December 15th hearing and again dodged the court's questions, defense counsel has turned to the netherworld of Reddit into the defendant's research arm. They have turned the netherworld of Reddit into the defendant's research arm and continues to file meritless challenges based on nothing more than the latest conspiracy theory dredged up from Reddit. The SS supplement and the proffer of the affidavit are the latest examples. Nailed it. Along the way, the defendant has doxed juror number 1, publicly releasing his address with reckless disregard for the safety and well-being of both him and his family. Defense counsel later implied juror number 1 harbors neo-Nazi attitudes. Yep. And employs neo-Nazi symbology. Yep. And I disagree with the lawyer, sorry, Peter, but I disagree with you that motion didn't do that. It did. It absolutely did. And here's how. By even saying that juror number 1 writes his S's in a way that neo-Nazis do, or other Yahtzees of any kind, you are suggesting that he has knowledge of these dog whistles. Well, how would he have that? How would he know what the dog whistles are? I mean, I don't know what they are. I've never, how would he know? Oh, because perhaps maybe he's one of them. He's in on the subculture of the neo-Nazis and whatever, neo-Yahtzees. Sorry, YouTube. We don't like those here. That's what they're saying. That is what they're saying. So to say, oh, they weren't calling juror number 1 an actual Yahtzee. They were saying that he was calling Sally Smith a Yahtzee. Yeah, but by implying that he knew what these codes were in the first place, you're associating him with Yahtzees. So sorry, I disagree. I agree with the plaintiff. They absolutely implied that he harbors neo-Yahtzee attitudes and employs neo-Yahtzee symbology. And throughout, defense counsel has repeatedly misrepresented the record. The introduction of the phrase creature comforts into the trial, and now misrepresenting defendant's lack of diligence during jury selection in an all-out effort to destroy juror number 1. And that is what they are doing. There's no doubt about it. Defendant wishes to cajole this court to allow just an interview of juror number 1. Uh-oh. Just the tip, Your Honor. Just the tip.
Phrasing?
That's exactly. That's the camel's nose under the tent argument. We just want you to interview him, Your Honor. On fairness grounds based upon defendant's argument that although each of its premises to justify an interview fails individually, when viewed collectively, the false premises must amount to something. Except, as you know, 0 + 0 + 0 = 0. That is what I think Scott said that yesterday, and he's absolutely right. That's the argument. You can't have a bunch of zeros and it equal 1 or 2. They just don't. The defendant will never stop with just an interview. Never, as defense counsel admitted during the hearing. The defendant has already demanded juror number 1's private communications and text messages, along with those of juror number 1's wife's, along with those of Jules, the notorious Jules. And there is a footnote. Even if the court accedes to defendant's request for an interview of juror number 1, the defendant will next press the court for private communications between juror number 1 and his wife on this road to nowhere, since the defendant cannot overcome the husband-wife privilege set forth in Florida Statute 90.504. I've said that from the beginning. You cannot compel a wife to testify against her husband or a husband to testify against his wife. Period. And I think that applies in civil court. And will be broadly impacted the jury. Okay, here we go. Let's go back up here. Fairness extends far beyond the immediate considerations here and will broadly impact the jury system and citizens' willingness to serve on juries if a citizen's entire life will be scrutinized post-verdict simply because a citizen turned juror renders a verdict adverse to a dysfunctional corporate defendant acting like a toddler. This is key. This is so key. The damage, like I said, is already being done. And the judge is helping it along by not acting quickly to stop this. And it really pisses me off because I already see the damage is being done. The damage is already there. I'm damaged by this. I will never serve on a jury. I will tell the judge every time I can't be fair to the state. I hate the state. And I hate plaintiffs. I'll just tell them I hate the state. If it's a government, I'm totally biased against them and I can't be fair or impartial. I don't like prosecutors, so throw me out, throw me off because I'm no good at this. But the real reason is because I don't want to give some multi-billion-dollar conglomerate's attorneys the right to dig through my life. That's right. Judge Carroll is failing to protect his jury. And just because, and people are like, well, wait for him to rule. No, the fact that he's taking all of this time is actually harming the jury system. This shouldn't even be, this is nothing you need to think about, Judge Carroll. Like, you don't need to think about this at all. Like, this is wrong. 100% wrong. And you don't need to take 2 weeks before Christmas to figure it the fuck out. You should not be doing this to these jurors. The defendant should be sanctioned for trying. All right. I got a tip on locals. Thanks, Duncan Idaho says, a bit behind. But educated people should be distrusted by default more so than normal these days. You've got to prove that your higher intellect is not morally corrupt. Example, the pandemic crap. Yeah, agreed. Totally agreed. All right. Leaving the potential ruinous effects on the jury system and public policy considerations aside for the moment, however, defendant's latest attempt to call juror number 1's service into question based on the last-minute production of a third-party affidavit fails for at least 3 reasons. 1. Defendant has not met its burden. 2. Defendant's challenge based upon the third-party affidavit is pure artifice as demonstrated by the defendant's pattern of questioning, or more accurately, failure to question during the multi-day jury selection process in this case. And 3, defendant waived any challenge based on the third-party affidavit and public record in the related case. Defendant has not met its burden. Its actions show the question was not material to it. Let's see, there's a super chat here. Go for Big Guy 911. Thanks for the $20 super chat. Says, hey, Megan, off topic, would you be willing to talk to my friend who is a Minnesota state rep? She will be the leading minority member in the state child protection task force. Of course I will. Of course I will. Reach out to me, DM me on Twitter at Megan Fox Writer, or send me an email. You can connect us by email. Here's my email address. It's somewhere here. Here it is. There you go. It's up on the screen. Write it down. Save it in your contacts. I'm always willing to talk to people, especially state actors, who are trying to do something about this terrible system that we have. meganfox.writer@protonmail.com. Happy to talk to anybody. All right. Yeah, let me get that. How do I get that down? Where did it go? All right, there we go. Defendant has again failed to meet the high burden to interview or disqualify a juror post-verdict and set aside 9 weeks of judicial effort. The Florida Supreme Court reaffirmed a 3-part test for whether a juror's non-disclosure of information during voir dire warrants a new trial in Roberts v. Tejada. So for the initial prong, the complaining party must establish that the information is relevant and material to jury service in the case. Here, defendant contends an alleged non-disclosure by a law enforcement officer that he was a victim of a crime, a verbal threat, was material to its decision to keep juror number 1 on the jury. This is demonstrably false. In Roberts, the Supreme Court held that materially must be analyzed on a case-by-case basis, and materially is only shown where the omission of the information prevented counsel from making an informed judgment, which would, in all likelihood, have resulted in a preemptory challenge. But he didn't omit the information, so they could have asked him a question, and they didn't. That's your fault, defense, JHACH. That's your fault. Further, we have studied the record and see nothing in the pattern of preemptory challenges to suggest that Murphy would have stricken juror Moore if the information had been disclosed during voir dire. In other words, under the 3-part test set forth in Roberts, defendant needed to show that juror number 1's responses on his juror questionnaire prevented Johns Hopkins and its jury consulted from making an informed judgment, and that the defendant would have exercised a preemptory or perhaps cause challenge of juror number 1 if juror number 1 had checked question 18A yes instead of no. Defendant cannot meet this burden. Those of you in locals, if my meme squad is here, I want more Wylie E Coyote memes, because that's all I can think of when I read this. I need more of those. We need more Roadrunner memes. So I'm putting out a distress call for the meme farmers. I just need more of those right now. I need to be able to show them because it's too funny, and I need to pop them up on the screen every once in a while when it comes into my head again, because this is Wylie E Coyote. I'm telling you, it kills me. It's so funny. I love that cartoon. In presenting the affidavit at the December 15th hearing and attempting to argue some sort of prejudice from the late discovery of a public record, some sort of prejudice from the late discovery of a public record. That's a funny jab at them. Check the live chat. Okay, I am. I'm looking at the live chat. What did I miss? I don't see a meme. She's awful demanding, you memers. Yeah, that's true. Did you give me one yet? I'm refreshing. I'm refreshing, locals. I don't see any memes yet. You guys are slowing down. Oh, God. All right. I don't see any memes. I just see you complaining about memeing. But that's not allowed. Stop complaining about memeing. You are the meme farmers. There we go. There it is. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. more. I want the one where he's like splat through the fake road that the roadrunner always puts on the wall, or no, that he puts on the wall for the roadrunner, but the roadrunner goes through, but he splats into it. That one's funny. That's Ethan Shapiro's reaction to this plaintiff's motion. He's gonna show up in court with this little sign and just hold it up to Judge Carroll. Well, shit. Caught. Oh, what else do we have over here, memers? Do we have anything else? Bangful Dark says, I'll go back to the basement to make memes. Thank you. Thank you. Get to it. Hey, I made that one on my phone, by the way. I made the one of the one that's on the thumbnail. I made it on my phone. So you don't have to be in front of your computer. Okay, I gotta find where's my document? Bring that back up. All right. Defendant's counsel did not represent that he would have exercised a preemptory challenge even when the court inquired. Let's go to number 4. See YouTube video of December 15th hearing at 10 to 14 minutes available here. Okay, let's go do that. Let's watch. Yes, allow. 10 minutes in? Okay. Let's go 10 minutes in. Let's hear this. Hold on. Shit. Oh shit, what happened to my studio? Oh, there it is. Okay. Hold, please. You can't rush art, says Ezra. Yes, I can. Hurry up, memers. I can rush art all I want. The fast ones are always the funniest. All right, here we go. 10 to 14 minutes.
To the 20 years prior to this trial? Third, not a peremptory if the cause challenge was denied. The third, we learned 20 years prior to this trial? Yes, Your Honor. The third was in the questionnaire prior to the one given to the witnesses. There was a list of witnesses that may be present, of which there was Deborah Salisbury. Deborah Salisbury, as we've learned and as we filed with the court, it turns out she was juror number one's wife's attorney for her divorce proceedings, the same attorney who represented Mr. Kowalski. That was never disclosed to us either. The case law on this is very clear. Under Rule 1.431, we're entitled to an interview of the juror if there's a reasonable basis, and I'll get back to that. But I think the controlling case on this that's really undisputed is the De La Rosa case from the Supreme Court of Florida at 659
Nobody
7
cares.
seconds 239. There's a 3-part test utilized to determine whether a juror's non-disclosure of information during voir dire warrants a new trial. The first part of the test is that the complaining party must establish that the information is relevant and material to the jury, to the jury service in this case. All 3 would be material and relevant, but certainly in a case where there's allegations of medical child abuse and a juror has been served with an injunction for child abuse, that's something that we would have to know about. Certainly being a victim of a crime, especially one involving one's family member, would be something we would need to know about, and both of those were withheld from us. The second test.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And I haven't gone back to look at all of the juror questionnaires, but were there other juror questionnaires where the juror checked family members been a victim of a crime, and then did your side ask questions of those individuals?
I haven't gone back through all the voir dire, but
Well, you're making a statement, a very express statement that you would have used a peremptory challenge, and I'm just wondering if it was so important when that question was asked for other people, what did you do?
The law on what I'd have to go back to my voir dire questions and see what would happen, but I know that.
So you didn't know, you never checked. Holy shit, Shapiro. And because you didn't check, now the plaintiff has made you look like a total asshole, which, you are. Let's see what else he has to say.
In each individual, for the questionnaire, all of these were asked by the court, if you recall, and that the court asked those questions. If we had follow-up questions during the individual sessions, we would have asked them if it was material to the case.
But you didn't.
If somebody was saying they were a victim of a crime involving another family member, I absolutely represent to the court, that would be something I would have followed up on.
But you didn't.
No basis to, and in fact,
you didn't with anybody else.
In fact, the case law says.
So you're just lying. Oh, I absolutely would have. I would have.
Bullshit. Under both State Farm Mutual v. Lawrence at 65 Southern 3rd 52.
Nobody cares.
Palace v. Parr 216 Southern 3rd 747. That the counsel is not required to delve further into questions on the questionnaire if the answer is no. So there's under the three-part prong.
Yeah, but you didn't dig further into the questions when they answered yes either. So this is all just garbage, total garbage. All right, let's get over to locals real quick because the memers are working hard in the meme mines. I said mimes. The meme mines. Today's going to be a Roadrunner day. I want tons of these. I want them all. And I want them now. I want them now. I'm like that little girl in that movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Don't care how. I want it now. Hurry up. I want more. That one's funny. Do we have more yet? Let me see. I have to refresh. The meme farms in Kansas are working overtime. Oh, God, there's more. Shapiro arguing juror misconduct. Yes, thank you, Veruca Salt. Don't care how. I want it now, locals. Now. You're doing good. You're doing good. There's another one. Wait. We dropped the ball harder than kids at John Shopkins. Ethan Shopkins, the drop kid, Shapiro, probably. Look, he's falling. He's falling. The best memes come from Kansas. Milking the lol cows for fresh memes. We need. I want an Oompa Loompa, Daddy. It's me today. Daddy, I want a golden egg. I want an Oompa Loompa now. I want more memes now, locals. Oh, God. Oh, you guys are killing me. You're killing me. Ooh, who's asking for more transcripts? The plaintiff? Oh, no, Hunter is. Oh, this is interesting. All right, hold on. Let's present this. Yeah, this went in. I saw this on the docket this morning. I didn't pull it up. It says yesterday afternoon, plaintiff filed. Oh, this is the judge. Order requesting transcripts concerning individual questioning during jury selection. The judge is ordering this. Yesterday afternoon, plaintiff filed its response to defendant's third supplement to motion for juror interview. Footnote number 6 at page 9 of that filing suggests there may be a transcript from the individual questioning conducted during voir dire. To the extent there is a transcript from the individual questioning days 1, 2, and 3, September 14, 15, and 18, the court would request that a copy be sent to the court's judicial assistant as soon as possible. The court is most interested in the second round of questioning based on responses to the questionnaires and not the first round, matters primarily involved regarding financial hardship. If there is only a transcript for days 1 and 2, the court still would like for this to be submitted. The court is still attempting to have an order released on Wednesday, but that may be pushed to Thursday. Ooh, he's going to order something this week? He said he wasn't going to order anything until Christmas. All right, we're going to have to check out footnote 6, page 9. We're not there yet. We're almost there. We're almost there. And thank you, locals, for being on top of everything. When we get there, I will make sure we come back to that and see if we understand a little more in deeper context once we get to that. Let's see what the judge could be fishing for, because he's clearly fishing for something. He wants something. He's ordering those transcripts. That's very interesting. Megan Fox reported dead today from acute meme overdose. Oh, wait, I just missed. Wait, LA says, I'm surprised Reddit hasn't whined that Megan is streaming like they usually do. Maybe they're giving up. Maybe they're just deciding to give it up because they're just wrong. They're on the wrong side of this. And I'm sorry that happened to you, Reddit, but Shapiro, after reading the plaintiff's response, I didn't see that coming when I lied so blatantly. Oh my God, this is so good. Oh, I need a minute just to laugh. Please hold. I enjoy the rave music while I laugh. Oh my God, the memers, they are at work. They're hard at work at the meme farms in Kansas. Oh my God, I love them. I love you so much. I love you. All right. Oh my God. You people slay me. You people slay me. It's so good. Please make sure these end up on the meme farm Google Doc so we don't lose them. On Paper says, I need to go post some of these on the Reddit page. Now, don't rub it in. You know, I didn't mean that. All right. God, didn't I say this wasn't gonna be long today? I don't feel good. I want to go lay down and be lazy. Gosh dang it. You're making me have a good time. All right. Okay, defendant was unable to commit to the premise that it would have challenged juror number 1, and the record supports defendant's ambivalence. Juror number 1 did check yes to question 18B, that he or an immediate family member had been charged with a crime. In follow-up, defendant's counsel and its jury consultant asked 0 questions, I like that it's in bold, of juror number 1. Had defendant's counsel asked any follow-up questions regarding question 18B, juror number 1 would have disclosed the circumstances described in the affidavit. And in fact, I actually wish they had added this in here. He did disclose it because Judge Hunter Carroll asked him about it. And he said it was my wife's son. He said it in court to the judge in the transcripts, which are on this thing. So I'm not sure why the plaintiff missed the opportunity here to say he actually did disclose it to you, Your Honor. And if the defendant had if they had any problem with it, they should have asked him then. But they said no, they didn't have any other questions. This should be completely dismissed. This is just God. What is this? Super chats. Matt Grease says Shapiro/Reddit need a Patrick Star AI voice filter. I don't know who that is, so I don't get the joke, but some of you probably do. I like my Reddit voice filter though. I think it's funny.
It's funny. It's a whiny little girl, which is how Reddit sounds.
All right. Yeah, and here I didn't think I was going to be able to be funny today because I feel like absolute garbage. Debbie says, when you've had a rubbish day at work, always come to Megan Fox Live. I'm crying with laughter. Thank you. I'm glad I've been able to laugh because I didn't think I was going to be able to. Oh, there's more memes. Or we're never going to get back to the thing because I'm going to have to show you more memes. Megan Fox's medium smart chat, Reddit medium morons. Wait, why are we Wylie? Why are we? That's the wrong one. You have it backwards. We're not Wylie. He's the dumb one. No, you have it backwards. That's funny. But Your Honor, Reddit said it was true. Reddit said it was true. Your Honor, we got it on Reddit. Reddit is well known as a bastion of detailed and accurate research. Oh, man. All right, what else am I missing? Okay. All right. All right, I have to stop looking at locals now because I'm going to get totally distracted. The simple fact is that defendant's counsel and defendant's jury consultant had stars in their eyes when the first juror, juror number 1, to be brought in during individual questioning turned out to be a former law enforcement officer. Defendant believed that its defense would resonate with a former law enforcement officer who would understand the criminal implications of Munchausen by proxy allegations against Beata, would understand the intricacies of DCF in the dependency court system, and would surely relate to Detective Stephanie Graham. Defendant did not exercise, well, and he was very wrong, by the way. That didn't go as planned, did it? Defendant did not exercise due diligence as demonstrated by defendant's failure to ask juror number 1 any questions and by failing to challenge jurors who answered affirmatively to crime questions on the juror questionnaire. Lawyers representing clients in litigation are entitled to ask and receive truthful and complete responses to the relevant questions which they pose to prospective jurors. That was Roberts citing Lofton v. Wilson. During defendant's or tennis challenge based on the affidavit, defendant repeatedly cited to the 3-part test reiterated in De La Rosa v. Zequira. Defendant cannot meet the 3rd prong that the failure to disclose the information was not attributable to the complaining party's lack of diligence. Sykes v. Ryder Truck Lines. Defendant did not ask any questions of juror number 1, even though he answered affirmatively to another crime question on the juror questionnaire. Nor did the defendant demonstrate due diligence in asking other jurors follow-up questions when they answered affirmatively to the crime questions on the juror questionnaire at questions 18A through 18C. Defendant's lack of diligence cannot be used to assail the adverse verdict until under both De La Rosa and Roberts. Defense counsel confessed during the December 15th hearing that they had not performed the necessary analysis to demonstrate its due diligence. The record belies defendant's purported concern and newfound position that it viewed the response and newfound position, funny, that it viewed the responses to questions 18A through 18C on the juror questionnaire as material to the defendant's considerations and informed judgment during jury selection. In fact, this is so great. Of the 12 combined jurors, both primary and alternates, 6 answered affirmatively to questions 18A through C. Defendants selected those 6 despite their answers to questions 18A through C and asked 0 follow-up questions on the topic. Holy shit, you guys. This is so bad for them. It's so embarrassing. Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. I'm so I have secondhand embarrassment for Shapiro right now. Max Bang, thanks for the super chat. The post-trial research, aka Reddit, is a pile of nonsense. 3 goats and a maggot high. Screaming goat. Oh, Jermaine Down, I almost missed your super chat, says, now I know where Shapiro went to law school. Oompa Loompa Land College of Law. Is that in Guam? That's what Mo would say if she were here. All right, let's see. Where were we? See juror questions of jurors 1, 17, 19, 97, 106, 137 compared to transcript of jury selection. Selected excerpts attached as composite exhibit A. Jurors number 1, 17, 19, and 97 decided this case despite no inquiry by defense counsel regarding the crime questions. And astoundingly, juror number 106, the first alternate and newfound love of the defendant, was among those who answered yes to the crime questions. Still, defendant did not inquire further. Taking these 6 in order, juror number 1 checked yes to question 18B. During individual voir dire, the court inquired about juror number 1's affirmative response, and juror number 1 disclosed that his stepson had been charged with a crime. Footnote number 5. Let's go to footnote 5, shall we? I wish they had like little things I could just click. Had Mr. Shapiro asked any questions in follow-up to juror number 1's truthful disclosure, the defendant could have learned more about the crime that juror number 1's stepson had been charged with. Importantly, the affidavit relates to that alleged crime. So now we have evidence that juror number 1 was honest on his report and to the judge when asked about this alleged crime, and disclosed it to the court in direct opposition to what the defense has claimed. It is in the dad blame transcripts. I'm trying hard not to use my dad's favorite swear word because it bothers my mother. Juror number 17 also checked yes to question 18B during individual voir dire, and the court inquired about juror number 1's affirmative response. Oh, I think he means juror number 17. That's a typo. And juror number 17 disclosed that his son had been arrested 5 years ago. Defense counsel asked no follow-up questions and, in fact, asked 0 questions of juror number 17, even though his son had been charged with a crime. God, it just gets worse and worse. Worse and worse. Oh. Hold on a second. Oh, really? Ruba says, join late, speeding through it 2 times, listening to latest episode from crazy MVP podcaster. She craps on you, your stream, and your interview with Anderson. She plays excerpts from you, shows notes linked to you. She's interviewing her hero, Sally Smith, next. Oh, does she? That's weird. She never reached out to me for a comment on any of that. What podcast is that? Like to know which podcast that is. Is that the Nobody Believes Me podcast? Strange how my email is out there, and yet this so-called podcaster who has opinions about me and my show and my comments hasn't reached out to me when my email is public. That's weird. That's bizarre. Here's my email, Nobody Believes Me podcast host. Why don't you get in contact with me if you've got some questions? Do you have some questions about this show and about my opinions on things? Or are you just going to, just rag on me without asking? I don't really give a shit. I have absolutely no time for that podcast anyway. I've never heard it because it's behind a paywall that I'm sure all 5 of her fans pay for. And basically it's an entire show trying to, Hollywoodize Munchausen syndrome by proxy, which is not a thing. And what is a thing is child abuse. Child abuse is a thing. And some child abusers do it in a weird way where they use medical things and like medical procedures to abuse a child. That is not, it's not a psychological disorder of any kind. It's just child abuse. And we need to stop acting like, Hollywoodizing. It's like the satanic panic that now every mother who's concerned about their child or every mother who has a medically complex child should be looked at for Munchausen syndrome. It's retarded. Yeah, I mean, how many of my clips has she been playing? I mean, those are mine. I have copyright to them. So I don't know. I don't care enough to really try to look into it. All right, juror number 19 also checked yes to question 18B during individual voir dire. Defense counsel focused heavily on juror number 19's awareness of Take Care of Maya and her Catholic religion, but asked no follow-up questions regarding juror number 19's affirmative response to the crime question. Yeah, the judge was more interested than the than the defense. Juror number 97 checked yes to both questions 18A and 18B. During individual voir dire, the court inquired about juror number 97's affirmative response, and juror number 97 disclosed that her son had been charged with a crime in 2014 or 2015. Defense counsel asked no follow-up questions, and in fact asked 0 questions of juror number 97, even though her son had been charged with a crime. Juror number 106. Okay, we're getting to the page where there is the footnote that the judge now wants transcripts about. So let's see what that is. Juror number 106 checked yes to question 18B. During individual voir dire, the court inquired about juror number 106 affirmative response, and juror number 106 disclosed that his son was charged with a drug crime. Defense counsel asked no follow-up questions, and in fact asked 0 questions of juror number 106, even though his son had been charged with a crime. Juror number 137 checked yes to question 18A. During individual voir dire, defense counsel asked no questions of juror number 137 despite his affirmative response to the victim of a crime question. Glaringly, 27 of the first 200 potential jurors answered affirmatively. 27 out of 200 answered affirmatively to the crime questions. Defendant's counsel and its jury consultant demonstrated abject apathy and a complete failure of due diligence on the topic of being either the victim of a crime, charged with a crime, or a witness in a criminal case, which is weird. You know, the whole thing is weird because this was not a criminal case. So it wasn't relevant. It wasn't material. So it is one that you would skip over, and now they're just trying to claim that this is a problem. The record reveals that the defendant failed to follow up on even one prospective juror's answers to the crime questions. While defense counsel represented to this court that he was certain that if juror number 1 had disclosed that he was a victim of a crime, there would have been a cause challenge, and if not, a preemptory challenge, the record reveals the exact opposite. The court cannot take defense counsel at his word for what he would have done because juror number 97, one of the final 6 jurors that decided this case, disclosed that she or another member of her immediate family had been a victim of a crime. Oh, wait, I missed the footnote. Dang it. This is the important one. The record reveals that the defendant failed to follow up even on one prospective juror answers to the crime questions. Now, number 6 says, plaintiff's counsel has reviewed the transcript of voir dire for all 27 of these potential jurors questioned on days 1 and 2 of jury selection, but does not include all excerpts here in the interest of brevity. Okay, so what? So the judge wants the rest of the transcripts to see if there were any other questions asked on any other days. So again, the judge is playing, he is trying to help the defense. Is he searching in the record for that should be their job. Is the judge searching around in the record now for evidence that they did ask follow-up questions on the other days? That's a really weird order to me. The judge is now doing the defendant's job. And get this, when the judge asks for transcripts, he doesn't have to pay for them. So now instead of the defendants having to look through the transcripts and order them and pay $7,500, the judge is going to do it for them? Is that what I'm hearing here?
Wet ass P word.
That's bullshit. Well, there's no reason for him. JC says, no, he isn't. He wants to know what they did and did not ask. Well, the plaintiff is showing him what they did and did not ask on these very specific things. And if the plaintiff had not said to him, so the plaintiff's honesty is getting this, is the reason this is happening. Plaintiff is saying, and do you think the defense would have done this? Do you think the defense would have been like, okay, we only did look at days 1 and 2, and it doesn't include all the excerpts here. So just in case you want to see the rest, there's more that we haven't looked at because it would have cost us another $7,500 probably. I mean, I don't think the defense would have done that. Well, Jules thinks that Judge Carroll's going to verify that the defense didn't do their job. Maybe. But I think the defense should be required to pay for the transcripts, frankly. Locals is still working on memes. This one's funny. JHACH trying to read juror text messages. Look at the data in the hole. That's so funny. That's a good one. Oh, man. All right. Gotta go back to my documents. Look, Judge Carroll's days of me giving him the benefit of the doubt are over. So maybe you guys want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't. To me, it seems like he's doing their job for him. He can't just take their word for it. They attach the transcripts to this motion. The transcripts are here, not the full, not past 1 and 2, but you can see very clearly they had no further questions, even when the judge questioned the jurors about the criminal stuff. So this would be enough for me. I'm not going to go digging back through a bunch of transcripts. I'll let the defense do that. If the defense has evidence that they did question the juror or other jurors, then they should be the ones to provide it. I'm not going to let them get it for free because I, as the judge, go and order it. Bullshit. That's bullshit.
Bullshit.
No, this motion was not filed after the judge's order. He very clearly says he read it and now he wants these things. It was filed. His order came after this motion. All right. Defense counsel also did not use either a cause or preemptory challenge, despite vehemently conveying to the court at the December 15th hearing that he would have if it was juror number 1. Mr. Shapiro, as your honor can imagine, had that been disclosed, that certainly would have led us to a cause challenge, if not a preemptory, if a cause challenge was denied. The court need look no further than defense counsel's failure to inquire of juror number 97. The red cow juror, which was explained to me, means red cow case in Florida means like the perfect case. And so they're calling juror number 7 the perfect juror, according to the defense. For proof, they failed to inquire of the red cow juror. For proof, the defense counsel would not have exercised either a cause or preemptory challenge based on an affirmative response to 18A. Juror number 97 checked yes to question 18A, and defense counsel did not exercise any challenge. The record conclusively demonstrates that defense counsel was not focused on affirmative answers to crime questions during voir dire. And defendants' informed answers to crime questions during voir dire and defendants' informed judgment was not impaired by anything but its myopic view of ridding the jury pool of all the women on the veneer. Oh boy. What? Oh my. They wanted to get rid of all the women. That's curious. They didn't want any mothers on that jury. That would have been very bad for them. But I hate to break this to JHACH. No matter what people you put on a jury, even if you get another trial, you ain't winning this case. The facts are against you. Give up now. Pay up. Pay the money. Because you people are just wrong.
Wrong.
All right. Tellingly, juror number 106, the first alternate juror, also had a son charged with a crime, yet without any knowledge of the circumstances of that crime, the defendant moved to substitute juror number 106 for juror number 1 during trial. Had that scenario played out, juror number 106 would be subject to the same post-verdict attack by the defendant on display here, since the defendant failed to exercise any due diligence in determining how juror number 106's affirmative response to the crime question would affect his view of the evidence and testimony in this case. In sum, defendant's lack of due diligence cannot be used to assail a verdict adverse to Johns Hopkins. Defense counsel spent more time making clumsy pie analogies during jury selection than exploring the criminal conduct of any juror or juror's family members. Yep, they sure as fuck did. So, I looked into what they did because that was not televised jury selection. So we didn't get to see what was with the pie. Remember when Shapiro at closing arguments was like, I'm going to talk about, remember this picture of pie? He had this big blown up picture of pumpkin pie. And he's like, Remember when I showed you this pie? Remember when we talked about pies way back when you might have liked us and now you don't? I really need you to focus on what we talked about with the pies, but he didn't go back into it. Okay, well, here's how it sort of went down. At some point during jury selection, the defense made the argument that this case might be like a pie. Now, obviously, I'm not quoting them directly, but this is the idea of the pie defense. Some of you might like pumpkin pie. Some of you might hate pumpkin pie. But if you're at a pie contest and there are, an expert panel of judges judging the pies, they will judge the pumpkin pie based on what pumpkin pie is supposed to be. And even if you don't like pumpkin pie, a judge might find the pumpkin pie is the best pie at the contest. Even though you don't like the pie, you don't personally like pumpkin pie. So you're not going to like our case. We know that it's a shit case. It's basically a shit pie. If you've ever had a pie that has baked with dog shit in it, that's our case. However, the recipe of a dog shit pie, we followed it completely. And so it's not up to you to say, I don't like this pie. You have to eat it and not spit it out because the experts say that the pie was made correctly. This is literally his argument. So even though you think the pumpkin pie is shitty and you hate the way it tastes, and you're going to hate this case, you're going to hate all of our witnesses, and you're going to hate all of our evidence, you still have to find in our favor because it's a good shitty case. The experts agree with us. And so you bus stop people, you just don't have the proper taste buds. You don't have the proper taste buds to understand what a good case is. Okay. That's basically their argument. That's it. We need a pie meme. Do we have a pie meme? We don't have a pie meme yet, but we do have some more of Wylie E. Hold on. Hold on. We've got some more Roadrunner. Reddit, take care of Maya Free over here. The not so free speech pro hospital abuse anti-migrant subreddit. Versus the meme farmers. Oh, it's funny. It's funny. Let's see, there's more. Shapiro asking for just the tip. Oh, that's good. That's good. Shapiro wondering how all of their bombshell accusations keep blowing up in JHACH's face. Plaintiff's counsel after doing a modicum of research. Yep. Oh my God. These are good. I like Roadrunner Day. This is how to fuck up a case for dummies. Oh my God. This is really good. How to fuck up a case for dummies. Legendary. Yep. Oh man. Did I miss any pie memes? I did. Really, instead of saying my chat, that should say the jury. The jury. That should be the jury. Because they didn't get it. They didn't want the pie, the awkward pie analogies. Imagine bringing up non-ironically pie to that jury who had already heard that JHACH threw Maya's cake in the trash. Why would you bring up dessert at that point? Oh, someone sent me a pie meme to my email. Well, now I have to go open it. Why would you do that? Why would you? I mean, I could understand that you brought up the pie thing like in the jury selection, but after the case went on and everyone got so pissed off about the cake, and I mean, all that Shapiro had to do was like, go online to hear how pissed off you all were about the cake. Why would you ever bring it up again? All right, what am I looking at here? I don't know. All right, here's another one. This one has a pie strapped on his back, a pumpkin pie. Oh, awkward. Wait, clumsy pie analogies. I think we need a meme with the words clumsy pie analogies in it. That American Pie one might work. The jury, and then like the jury on one side, and then the clumsy pie analogies on the other. Clumsy pie analogies is like the best line in emotion yet in this entire case. Clumsy. Let's read it again, shall we? Defense counsel spent more time making clumsy pie analogies during jury selection than exploring the criminal conduct of any juror or any juror's family members. Clumsy pie analogies. I almost said clumsy pie emojis. Yeah, there we go. There we go, Reddit. Fixed and Reddit. There we go, locals. You fixed it. I'm not calling you Reddit. That was a bad mistake. Perfect. This is perfect. Clumsy pie analogies. Oh. Oh, God. You guys are killing me. All right, let's get back to it. I'm never going to get done with this. The kids are going to be home soon, and I'm going to have to leave. I don't think I'm going to get to my other news today. Defendant waived its challenge based on the affidavit. Defendant's supplement is defective because the verbal motion was not filed within 15 days of the verdict and is thus untimely under Florida under Florida our code, whatever. And the verbal motion was not sworn, which the second district holds is required. The defendant has not submitted any sworn allegations regarding the affidavit and the presupposed prejudice, and defendant's statements on the record are counterproductive, given that the defendant was unable to represent that it would have conducted its questioning any differently. Defendant's failure here mirrors its failures to preserve its earlier post-verdict attacks on juror number 1. The affidavit has been public record and was at all times leading up to and during the trial. Over 20 years ago, the Florida Supreme Court stated the court system is already overburdened and does not have the luxury of allowing jury verdicts to unravel or be subject to attack because of information which could have been reasonably obtained before the trial begins. Well, a public document is pretty easy to obtain, folks. It's pretty easy to obtain. There's no excuse for this. Hold on, I'm texting something. Okay. Everything defendant is complaining about is a matter of public record. The defendant cannot use information it could have known ahead of trial and well before the adverse verdict to justify a new trial. Defendant did not deny in the December 15th hearing that it knew all of the items it complained about in its initial motion through counsel Ethan Shapiro and his wife's extensive internet activity. To have known of the conduct and not complained until after the verdict was a waiver. Yep, defendant's latest effort to justify a new trial, and before that a juror interview based on the affidavit and an alleged non-disclosure of juror number 1 must be denied. If the court grants an interview of juror number 1, and juror number 1 dispels any notion of misconduct or non-disclosure, non-disclosure, that will not be the end of the matter. This is not plaintiff speculation. Let's go down to the footnote. See YouTube video of December 15th hearing at 27 to 29 minutes. And you can hear him say that he's going to get those messages. It's true. Rather, the defendant has already admitted this, stating at the December 15th hearing that even if juror number 1 performs perfectly during any interview that is permitted, the defendant will be back to the court with additional discovery requests and will demand the text messages and electronic communications between juror number 1, his wife, and the public observer known as Jules, who defendant pejoratively and erroneously refers to as plaintiff's agent. Footnote number 8. And by the way, they're absolutely correct. They will be back in court doing it. He will not be satisfied with just the tip. They want to screw juror number 1 completely. They want to grape juror number 1 in the courtroom. And that is absolutely clear. Yeah, is Shapiro going to request my phone data next? You want my text messages too? Am I an agent of the plaintiff? Or am I just a person who watched this trial, saw your crappy evidence, and decided that you were lying and JHACH is a bad place? That sounds like this, where you drop kids and shit. Maybe stop doing that. Just stop doing that. Okay. As an officer of the court and understanding his obligations to be as open, honest, and forthright to this court as he can possibly be, the undersigned Gregory A. Anderson states that Jules was never a plaintiff's agent or even a friend or acquaintance to him. He never knew who she was or why she was there. His only contact, other than "Hi, how are you?" coming out of the courtroom occasionally, was asking her to eat lunch further down the hallway towards the tail end of the trial to ensure she did not inadvertently disturb the attorney-client privilege by being privy to conversations between plaintiffs and plaintiffs' counsel. The conversation lasted less than 20 seconds. Yeah, stupid. In a case where the bad conduct of defendant was on full display, where the defendant elicited false testimony and withheld material information regarding its dysfunction, where the defendant refused to produce cell phones and text communications until 15 hearings were held, and even then, the majority of the phones and text messages were destroyed by defendant and its agents in vats of acid and swimming pools and data farms in Kansas. Now the defendant wants to turn a Florida citizen and his wife into public enemy number 1 and treat juror number 1 as an adverse party in order to enforce discovery standards and compel production of text messages that the defendant would not honor. Absolutely true. Not only will any potential juror interview not save the court from defendant's reckless charges of the court abusing its discretion, the defendant will not rest until it has completely destroyed the reputation of juror number 1, obliterated the husband-wife privilege, and done irreversible harm on the jury system in Florida and beyond. Yeah, beyond the entire jury system. This is an international case. Everyone's watching. And nobody's going to want to serve on a jury after watching this. I already don't. The damage is already done to me. No, thank you. I want no part of it. I want no part of smarmy lawyers being able to dig into my phone. No, absolutely. These people don't even get paid. Jurors get paid like a ridiculous amount. Like it's terrible. It's not good at all. They get paid like $20 a day or some shit. It's bad. It's a service. So we're supposed to lie to the jury about the cake? Uh-huh. Oh, no more awkward pie. No more awkward pie stories, Shapiro. You should really stay away from the pie stories. They're not good. They're not good. Yeah, it's not even legal minimum wage. Yeah. All right. The court will have better luck teaching a fish to foxtrot than getting the defendant and its counsel to refrain from filing frivolous motions and litigating and appealing and otherwise doing everything they possibly can to delay the conclusion of the case. A fish to foxtrot, but everybody was trying to figure out where does that come from. I can report with firsthand knowledge that is a Gregism. That is a Gregism. Greg made that one up, and that's funny. I love the fish to foxtrot. Somebody, we need to make this needs to be a meme. Memers. You got to get on this one. Because that's funny. The fish to foxtrot. The court will have better luck teaching. Maybe you should do a meme of Judge Carroll foxtrotting with a fish. One of those funny like one of those cartoon fish with the big lips, the female fish, you know, the ones that are in like the kids cartoons. What is that movie about the fish, the one with the big lips that looks like a Kardashian? Fish cartoon movie. I can't remember what it was called. Oh, there it is. Yes. It was called, I don't know what it was called, but I remember this movie. Will Smith was in it. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Will Smith was in it. And here. He was one of the voices. But I remember these stupid fish look like Kim Kardashian. Do you guys remember this movie? I still don't know what it was called. Here. This one. All the female fish in it look like Kardashians with the big lips. Look at. You should have Judge Carroll foxtrotting with one of these fish. What the hell was this movie? A Shark Tale. Shark Tale. That's what it was. Yep. That's what it was. Okay. So that'll be funny. All right. Super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Miles says, I feel even more empathy for Beata now. She was gaslit to I don't know what those emojis are. What are those emojis? Something and a slide. Sushi and a slide. She was gaslit to, is that sushi? And a slide. It's like a little puzzle. It's an anagram or something. Isn't that what they call it? I don't know what that means. If this is how they act when they know people are watching, I can't even imagine what it was like without the eyes of the public. Right? Right? Absolutely. M169, thanks for the super chat, says, when I served on a jury about 13 years ago, the per diem was $8 a day. Never again. You couldn't even buy lunch for $8. A sushi slide? A sushi slide. Is that a thing? I don't know what that is. Do I need the kids to explain it to me? I don't like the way it sounds. Oh, God. Read Delisandro's chat about the new law. Where? I'm looking. What new law? I can't find it. It's way back. Oh, here. Florida now has a law effective January 1st. All 7 counties in Florida will no longer have privatized DCS. According to attorney Melanie Little, wouldn't it be cool if it called taking care? But that's not going to solve the problem. I know you guys are like all about not privatizing DCS, and maybe that's part of the problem. But listen, DCS is not privatized in a majority of the states, and they still are losing kids. It's not privatized in Georgia. And look what they're doing, medically kidnapping kids. And who's overseeing them? Nobody. Who's responsible? Nobody. In Georgia, they put the same woman in charge of their DFACs that's in charge of Health and Human Services. She does both jobs. And Health and Human Services is supposed to investigate DCS when they screw up. So they put the fox in charge of the hen house. Like, you guys don't seem to understand that there is no difference. The whole system is bad. And taking it away from privatizing it will not make any difference. None at all. The problem is that there is no supervision at all. There's no accountability. They are investigating their own damn selves, and they always find they did nothing wrong. And then they have immunity, so you can't even go after them in many cases. MJ, thanks for the $50 super chat. Wow. Big bucks. Glad I could catch a live. These people are unbelievable. Agreed. So yeah, the DCS, the privatization issue is not the problem. I I mean, it might be one of the problems, but in my opinion, it's one of the low ones on the totem pole. That's not anything that I'm worried about. It may not be a good idea, but the problem is that neither one has any oversight and no accountability, no rules for nobody who breaks your constitutional rules or denies you due process is ever held accountable by anybody at all. You have to sue. You have to spend $100,000 to sue them, get past the immunity if you can. And it doesn't matter whether it's private or public. You have to get past the immunity. You have to pay $100,000 or more, millions. Maya had to pay millions. They probably mortgaged their house and all kinds of other shit. And for what? Like, you don't get any help from any oversight committee anywhere. That's the problem. That's the real problem we're talking about here. All right, getting back over to the IT goatee Brad joining in. Hi, how are you? Brad? You're muted.
Yes.
You're muted, Brad. You muted boomer. Hi.
I put don't add for a reason.
Sorry. Never mind. He's not here. I didn't even see that. I didn't even see it. I just figured you were popping in. Oh, he came in here to tell me in the private chat what that emoji meant. And I got, gaslit to sushi slide. Gotcha. Sushi slide. That's a good way to say that. In other words, self-delete. Oh my God, that's so funny. Well, you know how it is when I push buttons. I often push the wrong buttons. Sorry, Brad. I didn't mean to didn't mean to add you in if you didn't want to be here, but you have the ability to add yourself in and out, so I'll just leave you alone. If you want to come in, you can pop in. All right, fixed fish to foxtrot. Better luck teaching a fish to foxtrot than getting the defendant and its counsel to refrain from filing frivolous motions and litigating and appealing and otherwise doing everything they possibly can to delay the conclusion of the case. Wherefore, plaintiff respectfully requests that this honorable court deny defendant's motion for a new trial based on juror misconduct motion. Yeah, they want this, basically.
Deny. Sit down.
And that's what they should get. That is what they should get. All right. Now, there is evidence of this in the... Oh, hold on one second. I have another... Oh my God. Oh God, I'm going to do it. I'm going to show it because it's funny. I asked for pie memes and now I have it. Oh boy. The judge let me get more than the tip in. Oh Lord. I need to send that over to locals so that you guys can put that in the meme farm because that's freaking hilarious. Shapiro and the pie memes. Oh, locals, I'm adding that to the chat right now so somebody can go drop that. Nick, will you drop that in for me? To the meme farm. We have to preserve this one for the record. This one's good. Clumsy pie analogies is in there too. Okay, wait. We gotta pull up another meme. Where's the clumsy pie analogy? There it is. Wait, you spelled analogies wrong. You have to go back and redo it. It says clumsy pie analogies. And to fix, I'll let you fix the spelling and then I'll put it up. All right, super chat from M169 says, why can't CPS get it right between Florida overreacting and Utah just shrugging off multiple reports about Ruby Franke? It's mind-boggling. That reminds me that Ruby Franke pled guilty to 4 counts. They dropped 2 counts. She pled guilty to 4 counts of child abuse. I was going to go over that today, but I don't think we're going to have time because I need to get out of here soon. But she is definitely turning state's witness on Jody Hillenbrand. And I don't know yet if Jody's going to make a deal or if she's going to plead not guilty. We don't know. But I would really like to cover that trial because it does show the absolute negligence of CPS in that case, where they just ignored call after call after call. And there was actual child abuse going on there, which Ruby Franke has admitted to now. I will say, and maybe this is not going to be a very popular opinion on that, lots of the charges and the details in the charging documents are absolutely horrific and absolutely abuse. However, there was some stuff in there that I am surprised her attorney didn't get taken out. Like, for instance, taking away electronics and isolating your kid. Well, that just sounds like sending them to their room and taking away electronics and TV, which is what I do all the time. I mean, that's not, I thought it was strange the way it was worded on some of that, and some of the things. Obviously, causing your child to stand outside in a Utah summer while they get while they get second-degree burns or whatever and injure their feet is absolutely abuse. But there was some of the stuff in there that I was like, how did that make it in there? Like, how does that, it concerned me for the rights of parents to discipline their kids in some ways. Like, for instance, I've seen CPS take a kid away from family for making him do push-ups. That's not abuse. Wall sits, that was in there too. And like, I guess it just depends on how long, but is it abuse by itself? Obviously, I think we can all say that Ruby Franke is an admitted child abuser, and she admitted to doing terrible things, including cutting off oxygen, holding her son's head under the water, like some really bad, clear child abuse things. But some of the stuff in there was also just regular discipline. So it concerned me a little that we are now defining in the statute, or however they're doing it, and by precedent or whatever, by this child abuse, that some of those things, when taken by themselves, are just usual disciplinary things that parents do, like the electronics being taken away and isolating them in their room. Now, when you start putting handcuffs on your kid, that's a problem. Don't do that. And she did that, and she bound to the point where he had muscle damage, very bad, very bad, very bad. So she deserves all the prison time she's going to get. But some of the stuff in there, we'll have to go over it at some point, because I was confused. I was like, what? Why is this in there? There we go, locals. Good on you for fixing your spelling. All right, here we go. Clumsy pie analogies. This is great. This is so good. All right. Okay. Is there egg on my face after that latest disaster? Ethan Shapiro, probably. Yeah, not feeding them, that's abuse. Yeah, all of that stuff. Although one thing said so that she was feeding him chicken and rice while the other children got more flavorful things. And I'm like, well, yeah, if you're feeding him though, like I'm not defending Ruby Franke. I'm just saying that on the face of that particular thing, is it child abuse to feed one child chicken and rice and other children something else? It's not like chicken and rice is a terrible dish. However, I would not do that. I would think that that is a real bad idea. I think that that's like humiliating and stuff. But is it abuse? I mean, I don't. Yeah, I'm glad some of you see it like me, because I was like, what? Some of it, not all of it. But I don't know what they had enough with the holding the head under the water and the handcuffs and all this, not to put this other stuff in that a lot of loving parents do, like take away electronics, take away the TV. Oh yeah, for sure. Reddit's going to be like, yeah, she's believes in child abuse. No, not at all. Yeah, my kids love chicken and rice too. That's why I read that and I was like, wait, what? Chicken and rice is Is that bad? Is that abusive? I guess if your other kids are eating lasagna, but even so, is that abusive? I mean, it's not nice. But yeah, the head in the water stuff. Oh yeah. Oh, there's plenty there to get her on. I don't understand why they had to go for she fed one chicken and rice and the other kids something else that was more flavorful is how they described it. And it's like, I don't know. Yeah, we can't seem to pinpoint what crosses the line between discipline and abuse. Thank you, 160 and 169. Yeah, I don't know what is the deal with the law and not understanding the difference, but I don't think feeding your kid chicken and rice while the other kids are getting something else is technically abusive. Maybe it's weird, but it would definitely probably fall under psychological abuse when you put it together with all the other things. On its own, on its face, it seems like a reach, but perhaps with these other things that were happening, yeah, that maybe that's why. Maybe they just couldn't explain it correctly in the charging documents or whatever, or I don't know. I haven't read them yet. I read parts of them that I was watching on other people's channels. Okay. All right, so they want all the things. Okay, so now we're going to go down to some of the exhibits. Okay, so here we go. Juror number 1. This is juror number 1's form. And here are the boxes that they claimed he checked no to. Have you or a family member or a member of your immediate family been a victim of a crime? He said no. That's the one Shapiro complained about. But look at letter B, charged with a crime. Yes. Yes. So he doesn't see himself as a victim of this crime, but he disclosed that a member of his family was charged with a crime. Now, when you go down to the transcript, this is great because the judge is more interested in the crime question than the defense is. So here, let's go down to this. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a series of questions, says Judge Carroll. And then the attorneys are going to ask you questions. And they're all going to go over the paperwork that you filled out. I saw in the questionnaire that you indicated you were charged with a crime. Can you tell me a little bit about that? And he says, no, I wasn't. The judge says, okay, and were you? Okay, never mind, whatever. We don't care about when you were born. Maybe I X'd something, said juror number 1. The court says, yes. Prospective juror, one of my stepsons was. The court says, okay, but you have not been charged with a crime. And he said, no. The court, okay. Now, in going through the rest of the questionnaires, I saw that you've had a close friend or family or member that has died by a sushi slide. And then they talk about that. Now, let's get down to the defense. Mr. Anderson, do you have any? Okay, so Anderson has a question about the sushi slide. Then Mr. Shapiro says, no questions, Your Honor. Ms. Cruel, no questions. They had no questions for him. But they very clearly just heard the judge talk about his stepson being charged with a crime. And they did not have any more questions. Okay, so then they go through the transcripts of the other jurors who were also not questioned. And basically everyone is like that. The judge asks about crime and the defense doesn't. So I don't really need to go through all those. Let's wrap this up. Basically for them, for the defense, this was a big womp womp. Yeah, it really was. And I cannot get the Roadrunner out of my head. I mean, it's just, I just see Wylie E. Coyote falling off a cliff or smacking into a rock after, this is how this came across to me, as an absolute disaster for them. Okay, I have a few more minutes. What time is it? Okay, 2:55. I have a few more minutes where I can go over a couple of things that I wanted to show you in relation to the Georgia DFS. Make sure you hit that like button, by the way, and subscribe while you are here. Google. Please do, if you are making phone calls on the behalf of the Hernandez family who are going through a medical kidnapping in Georgia, please keep doing that. The Google document, which you all should have a link to, I didn't put it in the link to this stream, but it is in the link to the last stream that I did in the description. And there is a new Give, Send, Go for the Hernandez family. So I want to give you that. Hold on. Because they need to, Give, Send, Go is just better than GoFundMe. So I need to get the new, I have it here. I've put it in all of my videos about the Hernandezes, so I need to find one. Sorry, you guys. I forgot to put it somewhere where I could easily find it. So let me go to my studio and figure it out. Hold on, because this is a new one. So if you're looking to give to the Hernandez family whose baby has been medically kidnapped in Georgia, they're looking for help for legal expenses and finding a bulldog lawyer. They really need one. And they're going to have to come up with some funding for that. So let me look. I know, here it is, Give, Send, Go. All right, copying, pasting into chat. Too many chats. Okay. Rumble, there you go. New gifts. So before we start talking about all the crap things in Georgia that are happening to kids in DFS, I want you to know that there is a Give, Send, Go for them. Yes, Matt bonded out of jail. So now he's awaiting his trial, and they really need good attorneys. They really need help with their legal team. So that would be helpful if you guys could spread that around. All right. Missing kids in Georgia. Let's talk about this. All right. And Georgia is where the Hernandez family is suffering this problem with what they call it DFACS there. Nearly 1,800 foster children, this was just in October of 2023 this year, nearly 1,800 foster children in Georgia reported missing over the past 4 years, new report says. An analysis from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children found that a staggering number of children in Georgia's foster care system were reported missing. 1,790 children in the care of Georgia's Department of Family and Child Services were reported missing from between 2018 and 2022, according to the report. These numbers are deeply troubling because these are more than numbers. These are children, U.S. Senator John Ossoff said. He chairs a bipartisan U.S. Senate Human Rights Subcommittee tasked with investigating Georgia's foster care system. Speaking at Covenant House, a youth homeless shelter in Atlanta, Ossoff said children reported missing are more vulnerable to human trafficking and sexual exploitation.
I'm also here to share some of the latest findings from this ongoing investigation. And I want to emphasize that this is ongoing. We are continuing to interview witnesses. We've spoken now with more than 100 people. We are continuing to review thousands of pages of records. But I want to share with you one of our latest findings today for the first time. And just for background, state foster agencies are required by federal law to report missing children to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, or NCMEC. And in an analysis conducted at the subcommittee's request, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has found that between 2018 and 2022, 1,790 children in the care of Georgia DFACS were reported missing. Let me repeat that for you. In an analysis conducted at the subcommittee's request, the Center for Missing and Exploited Children found that between 2018 and 2022, 1,790 children in the care of Georgia DFACS were reported missing. And these numbers are deeply troubling because these are more than numbers. These are children. And according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and I think the leadership here at Covenant House has a lot of experience with issues like this, children who go missing from care are left more vulnerable to human trafficking, to sexual exploitation, and to other threats to their health and safety. Furthermore, of the 1,790 children in the care of Georgia DFACS who were reported missing during this period, the review conducted at our request by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children found that some were repeatedly reported missing. And in fact, this analysis found nearly 2,500 episodes of Georgia foster children being reported missing during this 5-year span. So this investigation is ongoing. The subcommittee is working actively to analyze data and produce additional findings, again, based upon now more than 100 interviews and thousands of pages of records.
So keep calling Senator Ossoff's office, by the way, about the Hernandez family. We want him to investigate their case. And on the day that we were calling Ossoff's office, he was actually in a Senate subcommittee hearing about this. That's where he was. That's why, remember when nobody was answering the phone? Him and his entire staff were in the Senate subcommittee hearing that day, where they were going over all of this horrific stuff happening to foster kids in Georgia. So he is deeply invested in this case. I don't even know. I think he's a Democrat. I don't even care. This is the other thing. I don't care who these, what party these senators and whatever, anybody who can help. I don't care what they are. Don't not call somebody because they're a Democrat or because they're a Republican, because you never know who is going to help you. And I will work with anybody, and with anyone who will help these foster kids and what's happening in DCF. Now, here is a clip from the Senate subcommittee hearing that he was chairing when we were calling his office. And please do not stop calling his office. Keep calling his office. You can use your own your own words, or you can use the ones that I wrote, but please keep calling him. And his contact information is on the shared Google Doc that is going around. All right, here we go.
Court records show that after Brooklyn was murdered, you received a Facebook message from Brooklyn's caseworker, Ms. Beaumier, who wrote to you, quote, "You did not fail her. DFACS did." How did you feel when you received that message?
Like it was too late. I mean, my daughter was already dead. There was nothing. I just felt helpless. Like the system that was put in place to protect my daughter failed her.
If DFACS had followed its own policies, had sought your consent for this placement, had run the background check that they were required to run, had listened to you when you reported that you had seen bruising on your daughter's body, do you believe Brooklyn would still be alive today?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Aldridge, you've been through every parent's absolute worst nightmare. And I'm sorry. And I think all of us are grateful that you've taken the time and summoned the courage.
This subcommittee hearing that he did on the horrors of foster care in Georgia was 58 minutes long. I am going to do a stream where we watch the whole thing because I would like to know what else is going on, and I haven't watched it yet. So I'm going to
relive this. And
we're going to watch that at some point, but I want to go back over to that article that I was just reading about Georgia losing 1,700 foster kids. The Senate Human Rights Subcommittee will provide recommendations for the state's foster care system once it completes its investigation. Okay, well, during that same investigation, actually, I think it was this. A judge, yep, here we go. Share this tab instead. Here's another article. This is about Candace Brochie. Now, who is Candace Brochie? She is the head of DFACS in Georgia, who is on our list of people to call about the Hernandez case. Well, she's in trouble with Senator Ossoff, according to this article. Judges say Georgia's child welfare leader, Candace Brochie, asked them to illegally detain children in juvenile jails. This came out at the subcommittee hearing, which we are going to watch at some point. when I have more time. 2 Georgia juvenile court judges on Monday told U.S. Senator John Ossoff that the head of the state's child welfare agency asked judges to violate state law by keeping some children inappropriately locked in juvenile detention centers. The judges said during a hearing in Atlanta that Human Services Commissioner Candace Brochi asked judges to order children with mental and behavioral problems to be detained by the Department of Juvenile Justice while the state's Division of Family and Children's Services looked for a place to house them. Commissioner Brochi said that DFCS was not set up to be caregivers for these children. Well, then what do you do here?
What would you say you do here?
What do you mean DFCS was not set up to be caregivers for the children? That's exactly what your job is, Candace. And she asked judges to consider detaining the children, locking them up in a juvenile detention center for a few days so that DFACS could maybe find a placement for them, said Paulding County Juvenile Judge Carolyn Altman, who said that the request would violate state law. As judges, we do not lock up children, especially special needs children, because we cannot find a place for them. Well, tell that to the judges that were taken down in Pennsylvania for the Kids for Cash scheme, because that's exactly what they were doing. They were taking money to house children illegally in detention centers. Yeah, big case there. $100 million verdict against them, something like that. Spokespersons for Brochi and Governor Brian Kemp, because he appointed her, didn't immediately respond to requests for comments. Keep calling Brian Kemp's office, folks. Keep calling Governor Kemp. This is a huge issue in Georgia. The whole system is corrupt as hell, and they know it. They know it.
Because you are a corrupt person. You're the most corrupt.
The testimony calls into question what Brochi has touted as one of her top goals, reducing the number of foster children held in hotels. Foster children held in hotels. Can you even imagine what's going on there? Are they being held in hotels by themselves without supervision? Or state offices because the state has no other place to put them? Last month, Brochi told the Senate committee that children in hotels had fallen to 0 on September 8th and had been hovering near 0 in the weeks before that. Why should they ever be housed in hotels? But meanwhile, they're blacklisting foster families like Jennifer Williams because she stood up for the Hernandezes and said this child is not abused. So they shut down her foster respite care home. So then that means there's one less home to put kids in, and they have to put them in an office or a hotel where they're unsafe. So we're going to go over all of this at some point on another stream, but not today. I just wanted to tell you to keep on calling Senator Ossoff, Senator and Governor Kemp, because this is a big deal. They know that the system in Georgia is totally screwed up. They know it. And now is the time to bring it to their attention that there's a family, the Hernandez family, suffering under this terrible system with people who do not listen to them. And hang on a second. Hold, please. All right, I gotta go soon. Kids are home, and they need things. So I got like 10 more minutes. What else was I gonna go over? Actually, I think I got through all of it. So coming up next, I am probably going to do another action stream for the Hernandez family, probably tomorrow if I'm feeling okay, because I'm still feeling like I want to lay down and sleep. So we'll see. But you guys keep doing it. You keep calling here. In fact, I will drop the document with all the contacts that we have so far. Where is it? Here it is. Here's the link to the Google Doc that has it's in the chat right now. It has all the contacts for people you should be calling and some call scripts for the Hernandez family and what is happening to them. Rumble, I'm dropping it over there by you right now. Please go there and keep calling. Call Senator Ossoff's office the same day that we were calling his office and he was getting letters and faxes and messages. He was in that Senate hearing. We need him to take a look at the Hernandez case. He said he's talked to 100 people. Well, he needs to talk to 101 more families. He needs to talk to one more family, the Hernandezes. He's got to get their records. He's got to see what's going on in this case because it's bad. It smells, it's bad. And this has got to stop. So keep on calling. Don't stop. You guys are making a big difference. And even if 10 people will pick up the phone and call, the next group of people we'll be targeting are going to be the local media in Georgia to hope that they pick up this case. I have some, I need to update the, whatchamacallit. I need to update the contacts, but please do go there and help us make the calls. Lion by the Sea says, did I get your list? What list? Where did you send the list? You have to tell me where you sent it. Oh my gosh, locals and the fish memes. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. And if you love memes, get over to locals, meganfox.locals.com. Past examples of failed attempts to teach a fish to foxtrot. This is so good. It doesn't matter if you live in Florida or the UK. You can call people in Georgia and alert them to this story. Alert them because it's their responsibility to do something about it. It doesn't matter where you call from. You just tell them, I heard about you and all the way in Florida. I heard about your problem with defects all the way in Florida or all the way in the UK. And I think you should do something about it because it's bad. And this family and these people are your constituents. They are living in your state and your state is failing them. And you should look into it. You should help them because that's your job. Your job is to help them. It doesn't matter if you're in Ireland. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're in Ireland, you call them in Georgia and say, this is how bad this situation is. Me all the way over here in Ireland, I heard about it. If I'm hearing about it all the way across the ocean, maybe you should do something about it. How about that? Locals is American Nana wants me to tell her about Locals. Locals is a wonderful place. It's a social media page. You can follow me there for free, or you can pay $5 a month to get access to exclusive stuff. We do exclusive streams over there. I do laundry streams. We do cooking streams. We watch movies together. We do a lot of things over there. We have live chats that you can participate in and share memes if you're a paying member. But if you're not a paying member, you can still follow and get all the notifications for my show and when I'm going to be live. And YouTube does not do well with the notifications. So I always suggest that even if you can't sign up on Locals, that you go over there and just follow me for free. Here's another one. Past examples of failed attempts to teach a fish to foxtrot. Oh, you guys are funny. All right. I think I'm done. It's time to go. I'm going to go lay down. I don't feel so good. Get on the phone. Call those people in Georgia. Call Senator Ossoff. He shouldn't get a wink of rest. Neither should Governor Kemp. They need to know what's going on with the Hernandez family. To catch up on that, make sure you go to pjmedia.com, read my articles on it, on all of this stuff that's going on. I haven't written one on the Hernandezes yet. Or did I? Yes, I did. Go read it over there. All right. I'm going to have some tea. Later, guys.